Hey everyone, Keith Arkenberg Farms. It has finally cooled off out here enough to start working on my greenhouse to replace the plastic on the end walls here. See above me we got a rip, we've got another tear right up there. I actually patched this back together last year with packing tape, and believe it or not, it actually made it through the winter. But I'm getting so many rips and tears across this plastic now. I know now is the time. I've got my overwintered lettuce, some cabbage and some other things in this greenhouse, and I want them to make it through the winter. If I don't act now, then the north winds are going to come in over the winter and they're just going to shred this thing. I'll probably end up losing everything in there because it'll just drop too quick, too hard on it, and won't be able to take it. Now, the most important thing about this is doing this at the correct temperature. Not really the time of day, but temperature. Ideally, 55 to 65 degrees max. We are currently at about 45, 50 degrees here in the morning. So I'm gonna start stripping this thing off, get ready, walk you through the process of putting it back on, and show you the little tips I use along the way. So let me show you. Now, before we actually get started here, I just want to come up and show you a little bit of damage. It's actually over on this side over here. To reiterate the importance of actually doing this when you have the correct temperatures outside. Plastic expands when it gets warmed, shrinks when it gets cool out. So if you over tension it during like a hot spell, then it'll actually contract in the winter and actually tear right along the side here where all of your wiggle wire is attached to the track all the way down your greenhouse. Not good, lowers the life cycle of the plastic, and also sets it up for a catastrophic failure, which I've had before in this greenhouse when I was actually working in it, and the whole entire lid just went whoosh and ripped right off the top of it. So that's where it's important. Follow that 55 to 65 degree range. In a pinch, if you do have to put it on, make sure to come out and re-tension it, either let tension off or put more tension on it when you hit that temperature range to get the longest lifespan of your plastic. Here's an example of what happens to your plastic when you have it over tensioned, because I put this on at a time when it was too warm out, and you can see that when it shrunk down, it was originally placed here from here, and as it pulled back all the way along, it starts to develop little holes all the way through here. The other side is actually much worse, where it actually tore it out. But once you go through a winter and it stabilizes out, it'll stay in that place. But it's just something to really be aware of. There's a very good slit right there that you can see. All greenhouses are of similar construction. You have what is known as track, which is just this U-shaped channel. There's actually one of the shorter ones. They actually have taller ones out there. Got this through Bootstrap Farmer. And then what is called a whole bunch of different things. Spring lock, wiggly wire, jiggly wire. You can find about all kinds of different names online. This is uncoated, durable, either galvanized or stainless steel. They also sell coated ones. In my opinion, they pretty much all work the same. I think after using this thinner uncoated more and more times where I've put it in and taken it out, that's why it's all curved, that this actually loses its springiness a little bit over time, where the thicker coated stuff works a little better for multiple applications. I will say the second time or third time you replace the plastic in your greenhouse, so your initial put down, take off, put it back down, after that I would probably buy all new wiggle wire for the greenhouse, just specifically because I want to ensure I get a nice firm hold on it and I don't have to worry about having problems of it actually pulling out more than it should when the wind starts to buffer through. Now we're going to go through, show you how to take this off and get the skin off the sidewall over there. The best tool I've found so far to get the wiggle wire out is actually my pocket knife. It has this nice little groove on the end of it right here that actually fits around the wire very nicely. Other way, needle nose pliers. But I just simply take it and I go into the side here, get a hold of it and move it out. From there, you just rock it back and forth like you would installing it, but in the opposite direction. And you work your way up around the whole entire greenhouse. with the sidewall completely off. Make one quick modification to this. Originally I only had track going around the frame of this opening and around all of the edges around the greenhouse. What I'm going to do this time is add another piece of track right up here, which will enable me to take off the center piece during the summer, because my door is just, I latch them on with wiggle wire. But I can take this one off as well and probably eliminate that ridge vent. I'm still debating on putting that back up over here or taking it down that far in and actually hooking up that exhaust fan that I've never got around to doing. So for this, we're going to go up. I'm going to show you how to install the track itself and get it ready for this. Installing the track is pretty simple. First, you go through and drill holes every 1 foot, because I find it works best to pre-drill them, and then 2 inches from the center, just like this. Next, you hold it in place where you want to start at, which is down there. And then up top, a little difficult to do by holding the camera at the same time, is put a mark right where you need to cut it. Cutting track's extremely easy. You find your point here where you had your mark, you cut down one side, cut down the other, then you simply bend it. Just like that. Back and forth, comes right apart. There's a cut piece. Final part, simply attach it with screws. One very important tip with track is you want to eliminate these sharp edges. And to do that, simply take a hammer and peen over the ends of it so they are not poking up. That way, we have no sharp edges for the plastic to sit there and buffer on and tear. It'll all be out here, and these are all hidden away. The final step in this is actually putting the plastic back on. I order all of my greenhouse plastic, which is 6mm UV resistant plastic specifically made for greenhouses, from Bootstrap Farmer. Got them up there, got them down there. They did send me this hat, it's pretty cool. I specifically order for them. Number one, they're a really reasonable price compared to most people out there. And on top of that, they are quick at getting here. Usually about 3 days from order, you'll have your plastic on site, ready to go. And when I had the blowout on the top here, I actually called them, and within 2 days, I actually had my plastic, which was awesome. Could not beat that. Plastic comes in a box or on a roll. Simply drag it out. I've got a tape measure drawn out there. To get my measurement, I'll pull out the plastic and cut it. I ordered a 16 by 70 piece of greenhouse plastic to do both of these end walls. It is a 30-foot wide by 48-foot long tunnel. Now the stuff will come in a roll or folded up like this. You simply pull it out to where you need your measurement. Mine's 12 foot for one of those panels. Then lay down a board across it, going square with a fold or a seam. You can easily track those. Now I ordered the 16-foot width specifically because I can go from the top to the bottom with a 16-foot piece. So I'm cutting off a 12-footer right now to do one of the ends from the side of the door. Then I'll do the other end. And finally, I'll do the section with the door in the middle of it. That way it'll be on top and I can replace it later. Simple, smooth, clean cut. You can take it over and put it up. Now all greenhouse plastic has an inside and an outside to it. You should be able to read the words inside on the inside going across. It should not be mirror image. It could be upright or upside down, but still either way, you'll be able to read that it says inside. If it's backwards, you've got your sheet backwards and you need to flip it around. It's because there's an anti-condensating layer on these that help control the condensation on the inside of the greenhouse. Now for installing plastic, it helps to have two people, but I typically work alone, so I do it by myself. The one thing to always have with you is a clamp. Got my clamp clamped to my side here, so it's easily accessible at all times. So I'm going to take the plastic up over the top a little ways so I have plenty to trim off. And then I do a hand measurement. Basically, I cut this plastic about 6 inches bigger than it needs to be. So I'll take my hand and use that as a measurement from the gap of my thumb to my pinky for the amount I have overlap this direction. If I do this top and bottom, it'll give me a really good idea that at least I have it straight on this board right here. Then I can start to stretch it over and then bring it up to the top. I'm going to temporarily install a little bit of the wiggle wire track in here just to hold it in place for now, so I have a decent idea of where I'm going with it. So I've got this straight here, go back down to the bottom. We're going to repeat the process where it's important when it's lapping underneath you that you grab the right piece to attach it. So I'm going to come to the bottom and actually start to work my way back up. I always do work through the corners, so I'll start right here at the bottom. This will go up, this will go this way. I find that best because then you don't have this little point here that likes to poke and cause future tears in the plastic itself. So again, taking my measurement and pulling it down slightly to put some tension on it. We are at the perfect temperature right now. We are at exactly 60 degrees. So I need to get to working on this thing and getting all of my wiggle wire in here and hopefully get a couple pieces in before it warms up too much. I think we're only expecting a high of 65 today. So I should be able to work relatively quickly and get this done. If not, I'll just have to wait till it starts getting dark and the temperature starts going back down. Take you in closer and show you how to actually get the wiggle wire in there and the methods I use of lapping them over. Now anywhere I end up with an end, so I've got a joint and stopped right there, I go back into where it pushed the other direction, start my wiggle wire there, and then I just work back and forth, security in place. I'm not pulling any tension on it right now, and that's specifically because I started at the top and then I pulled it downward, so I pulled my tension this way. Now I've got this in a nice straight line. I can continue up, securing this side, and then go over to there. With that side over there set, we're going to start pulling tension on it. Starting at the bottom, I'll work my way up. I'm going to leave about a foot sticking out. We're going to start in the middle of it, grab my plastic, just pull a little bit of tension on it. We don't want to try to pull it through the wall over here. We just want to make sure that it's fairly tight at 60 degrees where we're working at right now, so we have the best stretch in the winter. I'm always holding up a little bit higher than that as I'm working my channel in. Now don't worry, if you start to get some puckering in the corners, just simply take your wiggle wire back out and then trace it back around. To work around the corner, I've got this extra little bit here. We'll just simply take it, hook it in the last spot, and then bend it around, and then just keep moving. We're just going to pull down as we go to kind of give it a little bit of tension. You do want to avoid that where it pops out, because that can actually cause tears in the plastic. It is a little bit more difficult to work with when you're closer to the ground because you don't have as much to work with. Set your channel and we'll work our way across, again overlapping. But first thing we're going to do is finish our way up and over. There we go. It's as simple as that. A lot of going up and down the ladder, but what you want to hear, that nice, tight but not too tight drumming sound to it. Now, there are a few ripples here and there. You can kind of see them shadowing across, but when this gets cool tonight, it'll actually like reset itself, it'll retension itself, and most of this will actually go away overnight. I'm gonna keep this thing going. It looks like we are at about 61 degrees. So I've got another hour or two before it's going to get too warm, and I'll probably end up doing the last panel after the sun starts to go back down, probably around supper time or so. Well, I officially hit my temperature threshold out here. It's about 63, almost 64, and it's lunchtime. So I'm gonna go get lunch, finish this up tonight, but you get the idea. I've got that panel on, wind's not kicking up bad, temperature's a little warm, so I'm gonna stop, do it once it comes evening. So, as always, hope y'all like your Saturday. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Keep farming. Thank y'all. Have a good day.